Hey, Seth Harris here with Harris Home Improvement. Just coming at you again with this deck here. As you can see, we have completed the frame. We're just putting the final touches on it now. All right, so let's show you some detail about it. So as you can see, we did ledger locks in between every single rafter all the way down. And on both sides we have these joist hangers, and in the corners we just have these little corner things, both sides. And then all the way down the center we have our 2x8s to keep everything from warping on us. Everything's nice and stable. We're just toenailing it into this beam down here. It took us a hot minute to get these beams to be perfect, but once we did, everything went smooth from there. And then as you can see, we got hurricane ties all the way down on this beam. So this deck ain't going nowhere. Right? And these beams are locked in to those 4x4, I mean those concrete posts there with those 6x6 post to beam anchors, or well, in this case they're just post anchors. But yeah, it's coming along. So now we're just getting ready to put up our railing posts and build our staircase, and then it's time to start finishing it off. Well, time for inspection, then time to start finishing it off. So, all right, see you next time. Hey, Seth from Harris Home Improvement coming at you again from this deck over here in Granby, Connecticut. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about how we actually went about building this deck in this case, because, you know, we did it a little bit differently, and I just want to, I guess, show you how we do things. So let me turn the camera around here. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about are these beams here, because that's, you know, that's the foundation of the deck basically. Are these two beams running all the way down the middle and in the end. So it was a little bit different in this case, because usually, right, what we would do is, because you can't get these concrete footings, all of them, to actually be like perfectly level all the way across. You know, there's going to be some slight variation between the two. So what you do generally is you put 6x6 posts on each one of them, right, at that slight varying height, so that they're perfectly level all the way across, because it's much easier to cut a piece of wood to the right size than it is to lay these concrete piers, right, because they're a lot heavier. They're going to settle, right, as they, you know, get into position, or, you know, as it's drying and all that. So, you know, normally we use 6x6 posts to get everything level, but as you can see, this deck's a bit low to the ground, especially on that side. So in this case, we had to put the beams themselves directly on the concrete footings. So with those slight variations, right, we actually kind of lucked out. We only had to make a few notches, a few cuts here and there, right? See, as you can see, we just like notched a little bit out of this guy, and that dropped it down so that when this is contacting here, it's contacting there, it's contacting all the others, and the top of our beam is level all the way across. Or, you know, it's actually got a slight slope down in this direction, which is actually what we want, right? We want some drain off. It's sloping a little bit this way, and it's also sloping away from the house, right? So all the rain's gonna want to slope off towards that corner. And then same thing, we just did the same thing to the beam in the back there, right? So you can see we made I don't know if you can see from here, but we made a notch cut in that one, just like we made a notch cut here. I think that was the only cuts we had to make for both of them. It was just that one, and then it sat on all the others. So, you know, it wasn't really bad. It was just these two that were a bit low, and all the others were level with each other, or level with a slight slope, which isn't a bad thing. So that's how we did these beams, and then how we got them to be, you know, perfectly in alignment to where we need them to be for this deck is it's just a simple process of squaring, right? You start in one corner, measure all the way across to one side of the beam, and then you measure from that corner all the way across to the other side of the beam. And then when the measurements are exactly the same, it's perfectly square all the way across. So that's how we did that for both beams. And that was the hard part, right? That's the part that took the longest, because once that's perfect, then the rest of it just goes right on, right? Just sits right on top of those beams. Nice and easy peasy, right? 16 inches on center, blah, blah, blah. There you go. So, talked about the ledger yesterday, right? How we have all those ledger locks. So, since that video, we've gone and done some of our railing posts, as you can see. So I want to talk about how we're doing that. And as you can see, we completely surround our railing posts with more 2x on both sides. And we do that intentionally. Number one, it makes it easier to get this thing leveled the exact way it's supposed to be. We got one guy that needs an adjustment over there, and then all these posts are the same level all the way down. And also, this adds a lot of stability, right? Long-term stability, right? Over time, if we didn't add these extra beams here and we just put 2 lag bolts through here, right? That's going to be strong for a while, but eventually, as time goes on and people abuse this railing, and that's going to happen, you know, that's going to loosen up, right? And eventually this railing will get rickety. But with this extra reinforcement here and the 2 bolts going through, right, on both sides, right, anywhere we can, at least one through a second side, right? Now this is never going to go anywhere, no matter how much anybody abuses this, right? It's never going to go anywhere. And we're doing that for all of them, right? So obviously it'll be the same for the railings that get finished on this side and on that side as well. Okay. So yeah, that's how we build decks. So we'll see you next time when we're getting ready to finish up. Yeah, and one other thing I keep forgetting to mention is the flashing. So I always have this question in my mind when I start building a deck. Should I slip the flashing under before I start building the deck, or should I install the flashing after I build the deck frame? And the conclusion I always end up coming to is to install the flashing after I build the deck frame. It's a bit more of a hassle in that it takes longer, but the problem I always imagine in my mind as I'm going along is I'm going to slip that copper flashing up there, and then it's going to constantly get in my way as I'm trying to build the deck. And I don't want to have to deal with that. So I build the deck first, and then I just remove the siding, install the flashing, and put the siding back on. And as you can see, we haven't done that yet. So I just wanted to make sure that I put it into this video that we're going to do that. You're going to see it in the final stages. So, all right. Hey, Seth Harris from Harris Home Improvement coming at you again. We're pretty much done with the framing for this deck. We got just a tiny little bit left to do, but we've hit a snag for our day, so we're calling it an end. We got our concrete steps here for our stair landing. As you can see, there we go. Right. And so we're building that. Our battery's dead at the moment. Got our copper flashing in all the way down. As you can see, we got all of our posts installed. All we have left to do is drop the anchor bolts in all of our posts and finish building our staircase, put the last 2 railing posts up for that, and then inspection time. Yay. All right, later.